Hi Cancer, welcome to my channel. Cancer, Jupiter will go retrograde on 20th of June. It rules our social expansion, and retrograde periods, which happen every 13 months for 4 months, are the times when our collective growth seems to slow down as we have to process where we are going. This is a natural part of the cycle. Jupiter visits a part of our chart approximately every 12 years. So during these next 4 months, it would rework the opportunities of growth in that area of our life, detoxing it of the social influences and excesses to make sure that's the direction and the form we want to go for. If you've hit a wall, not able to make progress any further during the retrograde period, we would by our own efforts find alternative ways to move forward. The excesses are pared back and intentions are cleared. So we are sure of the direction of growth we are taking based on our own happiness and sense of fulfillment versus social pressures. Because the transit is spread across 2 zodiac signs this year, we would review the 2 areas of your life where we would revisit the topic of growth. One is meant to help us in 2021 and the other is the topic of growth in 2022, but we are seeing a preview of that this year. They together define your growth patterns of 2021 and 2022. Cancer Jupiter would first go back over the subject of growth and fulfillment in your house of self-expression, creativity, publication, media, faith, higher knowledge, foreign affairs, travel, adventures, expansion, mentor, religion, foreign legalization or relocation till 28th of July. All the things that expand our mind and our influence, which is a topic of 2022. But after 28th of July till 18th of October, we would see a review of issue of growth and fulfillment from returns of partnership, the balance of give and take in our financial and personal partnerships. We will go deeper into both of these topics today because they influence your growth in 2021 as well as 2022. This is part 2, which is sign specific. I have covered the collective impact in a separate video, which is a part 1. Do go through that because this is a social planet. The collective impact is important to understand because it will influence you as well. My name is Charu and I'm your host on this journey. So let's begin. Cancer Jupiter would be going back over the subject of growth and fulfillment in your house of self-expression, publication, media, faith, higher knowledge, foreign affairs, travel, adventures, expansion, mentorship, religion, and foreign legalization or relocation till 20th of July, till 28th of July. And after 28th of July till 18th of October, we could see a review of issue of growth and fulfillment from returns of partnerships, joint finances, resources that we earn from others, financial sponsorship from others, loans and support from others, healing and the power dynamics of give and take in partnership. That would be the focus of review after 28th of July till 18th of October. Over 2021 and 2022, our growth patterns would dramatically change as we move from having a deep psychological transformation in 2021 with an expanded death and rebirth process that you're going through to a more focus on travel, publication, media, adventure and expansion in 2022. Both these topics are touched upon during the Jupiter retrograde for the next 4 months because you're trying to find the right tact to move forward on both. But first comes the transformation, the death and the rebirth, and then comes the adventure. The cycle will start off on a very optimistic note because Jupiter right now is in a very positive position for you. It is forming a beautiful grand water trine involving your own sign right now at the onset of your season. Happy birthday to Cancer Sun who were born in June. But at the onset of your season itself on 21st of June, we will have a beautiful grand water trine which gives a lot of positivity, faith and a positive manifestation of what you're looking for. An avenue of expansion is open. An avenue of adventure is open. An avenue of travel, publication, expansion of the mind and influence is shown to us. It's an ideal we would strive to achieve till early January. This beautiful trine in the house of life encourages us to have courage and confidence and make a expansive plan for the future. If you're especially early degree Cancer or Cancer rising Sun or Moon around 2 degree of Cancer, or if you're a Cancer Sun born around those dates, that is around 23rd of June when this transit is happening, what a beautiful birthday gift. Happy birthday. You would find this transit at the start giving you an encouragement to take a chance, to take a leap. And it's possible we might just be able to get something impossible at that time. This is a positive messaging that is coming to you, and it might come with a delay around 12th of July, but we would also recognize right when this positive messaging is coming that we have to do some more work to get this adventure. This adventure needs some more time and work to be cooked up to the level you would like to aim. Next 4 months, we grow this opportunity, but it would not be till early January that you would see this adventure come to its new form. This is a 2022 growth plan and not a 2021 growth story. Jupiter in 2022 would bring this expansion of your influence to life through giving you avenues of self-expression, your leap of faith, and a sense of adventure, which will be amped up in 2022. So the themes of 2022 of growth are travel, publication, meeting people who are different from us, expansion of our knowledge. We transcend the mundane by working on idealistic goal. But right now in 2021, since mid of May, you might have had this enthusiasm to pursue something more as you are being given a preview of 2022 to expand your horizon, but progress might have been slow. Now with this grand trine between 20th to 23rd of June, it's like someone shows you that the ideal that you seek is possible. The mystical experience, the magical expansion, life's expansive goals, a book, a media of your creative imagination, legalization in a far-off country, a life full of faith, a soulmate in foreign country, it's all possible. You dream a visceral future which has adventure written all over it. But our faith in this vision will slowly start to diminish, because the external support for it or the acknowledgement that something needs to change would very quickly dawn on us right after this grand trine, even though some positivity will continue till 12th of July when Mercury makes a positive aspect with Jupiter at the same degree. What will happen is that as a person, you are a person of faith and belief who can easily transcend into another state due to your overactive imagination. You trust, you dream, and you have creative passions with you. That's where a dream always begins. Those are the dreamers. Those are the people who make a difference in the world. But the dream alone is not enough. During the retrograde period, especially in July, you would evaluate what practically needs to be done to make this faith that you have in your perspective in this adventure come true. Some of our blind spots where we have been trusting somebody too much, they will come to light as well. And if our vision is too ideal in some ways, where we need to make some amount of compromise, that would also come to light in July. We will have to make adjustments to our work, our publication, our messaging, our knowledge, our legalization status, our certifications, and we'll have to try to detox our path from somebody else's belief or support. And it could be our own past belief, which is restricting our own thought process in some ways. Or it could be an actual mentor who has your well-being in mind, but their thoughts are too much influencing how you move forward. Don't let anyone tell you what the limit of your flight is. It's the time when you have to find a way by yourself. And you define your limits during this time. Our belief system, education, media project, publication, foreign affairs, legalization, spiritual belief, teachers, mentors, idealistic goals, soulmates in foreign country are going to be fact-checked, reviewed for another way to get it, and to also know whether they're still worth it. Some may not be worth your time because you might have expanded too many of these projects. You might have thought of too much. There might be something which is too idealistic about where you want to go. This sets the tone for 2022, which might look very similar in themes of growth as early 2010. But before you start living 2010, you need to live the themes of 2009, which is when last Jupiter was in your house of death and rebirth. That is where Jupiter is in 2021, and that is the output of 2021. In terms of growth, it's more psychological growth before the educational and external influential expansion is given to your sign. The period after 28th of July, Jupiter is going to move back into your 8th house. The tone of Jupiter is going to change after that. We are going to be looking at our financial situations because Jupiter in our 8th house rules both expansion through psychological growth, but also through getting our financial situation in order. And if things have been stagnant, not moving, not taken care of, or rely too much on somebody else, or the terms of your financial contracts with another, they're unfair in nature, we would take matters into our own hand and look at an alternative approach. We could have some unfair terms, or there's too much loan taken, too much indebtedness, or matters of financial negotiations might have been stagnant for some time in shared finances, in alimony, in taxes, in loans, in insurance, in will, or commissions. You would review the stagnant financial matters where money needs to come from other people to find an alternative path by not using the same tact, especially if you had left the matters to somebody else to resolve, or you had a lot of trust in somebody else to get it through. This is the time also of psychological growth, deep internal growth, where we leave something that we have been holding on to behind. It could be something that we need to mourn, something that has left ended, but we have not acknowledged it. Jupiter in 2021 is giving you the gift of rebirth. Rebirth would happen whether Jupiter was here or not, but Jupiter here makes it easier for us to go through this transformation. We willingly want to go through a transformation, a process of life and birth, to come back in our power, to come back in our element. It has also opened the avenues of deep partnerships, shown you how soulmate connections look like, sexual encounters, intimate encounters, and with Aquarius in your 8th house, they're normally online or distant encounters. They might have grown as well when Jupiter was direct since the start of this year. It's the year with potential of increased intimacy with others and growth through intimacy with others. It is also the year of potential of immense healing, psychological healing, as well as a time when you might decide to take a lot of interest or take a deep knowledge in a subject which is very obscure, which is very unique, which others don't understand, or a topic which is difficult, which others don't cover, but you want to know more about. This is also the year to take hold of your finances. It's the year when we review the debts we had, both karmic debts as well as the financial debts. It's the year of emphasis on intimacy, figuring out what turns you, especially mentally. The untraditional. The untraditional is what turns you out, turns you on essentially. And it's a year of soul's regeneration, a powerful rebirth. It happens once in 12 years, and Jupiter makes it easier for us to go through it. Now, if things so far this year have not moved forward in your joint finances, they have been unfair, financial avenues have been unfair, investments have not given returns, or intimacy or the relationships that were started, they did not result in the spiritual growth and the depth that you were looking for. You will look at why. You will look at why and what should I do to make it happen. This is also the time when we grow internally the most through self-knowledge, by understanding our wounds a little bit better that block our sexuality or intimacy. Unresolved grief which blocks us from asking our fair share in joint relationships will come up. And sometimes our need to control the uncontrollable by knowing when to have control and knowing when to release. And it might be coming in the way of your future growth, both in your intimacy as well as in your financial growth. That would also come up. With Jupiter here, sometimes we can get obsessed with what we cannot have or what we cannot control, especially in partnerships, both financial as well as personal, which leads down to the path of us doing all the work, taking all the initiation and taking all the decisions, which causes imbalances. If the matters of sexuality feel messy, it's the time when you look at a more spiritual and a deep connection with yourself and look at how to change how you approach sexuality and connections with another. We might have taken on too much debt or trusted somebody else too blindly with our finances, or left the matters of will, funds, insurance, taxes to fate, which you would take in your hand as well. This is all the themes of July onwards for you till October. Recycle what you don't need out of your life during this time. This will be the most giant detox you would ever do of the decade. Recognize whose time in your life is over, and you would very willingly and happily release some negative influences from your life. Recognize what turns you on. And in some ways, what turns you on will always be at odds with conviction. You have to accept that. You have to accept your own choices, because your choices are at odds with convention. As the society has not yet caught up to the subjects you love, to the people you love, or the kind of intimacy you're looking for. Do not carry your wounds as badges to keep you detached from intimacy and truly merging with another. Because having a unique choice doesn't mean that we'll never have it fulfilled. In fact, that's where your growth is in 2021. But in that merging, we have some blind spots which happen with you when you merge with another, which we will see. We would need to rework things through in joint matters, both financially and in personal life. Different tact in merging with others, in maintaining relationships, in getting your fair share, in financial and personal partnerships is required, in depth and intimacy, in growing through an obscure, ahead of time idea that you have. A different tact in growing through that idea is required. A different tact is required in merging your talents and resources. They're meant to benefit you. Merging with another is supposed to benefit you. These obscure ideas are supposed to benefit you. But a different approach, a different psychology, a different perspective, a deeper understanding of these subjects is asked for before we move forward. We would find a way forward around middle of August, which may mean we need to weed a few things that are dead weight and not real. Chuck a few defunct patterns within ourselves. See some of our blind spots. Recycle some of the ideas or relationships in a new form, which could mean meeting people halfway. This will all be done on your own and through an approach much different. Don't try the same tact. When Jupiter is retrograde, don't try the same tact on something that is not working. What you have tried before, try a different approach. This happened in 2009 with parallel themes. So if you would like to look back for reference, though nothing is exactly the same, it could help you. Health and healing would also be a very important topic for you during this time. Finding alternative ways to health. If there's something that is bothering you, looking at alternative ways to heal, especially alternative healing methods, or discovering what's hurting your well-being and releasing that habit or person would be a key focus during this time. These reconsiderations would be very, very strongly felt by third decan Cancer. So 20 degree to 30 degree of Cancer rising, sun or moon, or Cancer sun born around 13th of July or after, they would specifically feel this review cycle in a physical sense, and they need to be specifically very, very focused on their health aspect. Especially for these degrees, you would have to consider if you have gone overboard in both finances and partnerships. We would be asked to strike a compromise, a balance, instead of leaving what was started because we feel it's unattainable. Something does not have to be unattainable. The tact to it needs to change. Our approach to it needs to change. Jupiter, when it's retrograde, it grows us. It grows our ability to get what we want. It wants us to use the knowledge we have acquired so far to figure out a way instead of waiting for somebody else to show us the way. So that's what I have for you, Cancer. Hope this was helpful. I'll see you in the next video now. Thank you.